जय श्री राधे जी. श्री वल्लभाधीश की जय हो. सब Vaishnavan को जय श्री Krishna. So continuing with the story of Krishna Das, which is the 84th Varta of the 84, part 10 continued. Please also tell Sri Gosaiji that in the garden on the way to the Bilchu lake, under the mango tree, there is a spot with 100 rupees in it, and he should finish off the construction of the top of the well with that. Also, I can tell you that the buffalo belonging to Srinathji that you have lost is grazing in that thicket over there. Gopinath the cowherd found the buffalo and took it back to Jetipura. There he tied it up and then milked all the buffaloes and cows. A little after this, Sri Gosaiji finished his evening services and came down from the temple and went to sit in his bertak. Gopinath the cowherd went there and after bowing to Sri Gosaiji spoke thus. O Maharaj, today one of Srinathji's buffaloes went missing. We went over towards Pucheri while searching for it. There we saw Krishna Das, the manager, sitting at the top of the tree in a ghost's body. Krishna Das greeted me with the Lord's name and has made this appeal to you. I am now a ghost. I offended you and that is the reason. Only you can liberate me from this birth. There is a pot of money under the mango tree in the garden, so please use it to complete the construction of the well. Also, he told me where the buffalo was and we have brought it home. Sri Gosaiji pondered that Krishna Das was suffering a lot, that he should now liberate him from the ghost body. He took the 100 rupees from the box under the tree and gave it to the new manager, telling him to finish off the building of the well. Sri Gosaiji then, even though it was the night time, got on his horse and rode to Mathura. In the early morning, he went to Dhruvagat and performed Krishna Das's last rites. He liberated from the condition of a ghost and granted him a divine body in which to enter back into the eternal Leela. The door into Sri Giriraji, of which Krishna Das was in charge, is in front of the Bilchu lake. Krishna Das went to reign there. In this way, Sri Gosaiji granted Krishna Das a body suitable for entrance into the eternal Leela. Bhav Prakash. The question here is why Sri Gosaiji did not just simply release Krishna Das purely by his grace. Why did he have to go to Mathura and perform some specific ceremony? Is the Shraddha ceremony he performed more powerful than his grace? Here is the answer. Gopinath the cowherd had seen Krishna Das in his ghost body and come to Sri Gosaiji. Gopinath had announced to Sri Gosaiji in front of many other cowherds and temple servants that Krishna Das was inhabiting a ghost body and that Krishna Das was pleading with him to release him. If Sri Gosaiji really wanted to, he had only to consider the situation for a single second and Krishna Das would have been released. However, if Sri Gosaiji had liberated him with just his glance, then in the future, if anyone had for any reason got a ghost body, then they would just come to him and expect Sri Gosaiji to offer this same solution. If he did not then do this, then all would blame him, and that would not be a good thing for them to do because their minds would become corrupted. Hence, Sri Gosaiji went to Mathura and pretended to need to do the necessary ceremonies so that Krishna Das would be liberated, even though Sri Gosaiji did not have to do these. Everyone began to think that the power to release a soul from a ghost somebody was somehow in that place, Dhruvgat. The place became famous for this and not Sri Gosaiji, which is a good thing considering that the prevailing bad attitudes in the age of Kali. There is a second reason, and that is that because Sri Krishna Das was such a great devotee and recipient of grace, a countless number of his ancestors would be liberated, just like when in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahalad addressed Sri Narsim Bhagavan, "Oh Maharaj, may my father be liberated now," and the Lord Narsimji replied that if a family member were to be a devotee of the Lord, then 21 generations of their family would be liberated. Of this there would be no doubt. Prahalad was a devotee of the lowest And Lord because Krishna Das was such a devotee and a recipient of the path of grace, a countless number of his ancestors would also be liberated, just like when, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahalad addressed Sri Narsim Bhagavan, "O Maharaj, may my father be liberated now," and Lord Narsimji replied that if a family member were to be a devotee of the Lord, then 21 generations of their family would be liberated. Of this there should be no doubt. Prahalad was a devotee on the path of lawful limitation, while Krishnadas was a great devotee. Therefore, in Krishnadas's case, the number of his relatives that would be liberated would be countless. Even so, without a relationship to Sri Acharyaji, they would still not be eligible to enter the eternal Leela, using Krishnadas as an excuse. Why? Krishnadas, Sri Gosaiji, and everyone and everything associated with Sri Govardhana are divine. Therefore, there was never a trace of any jealousy in the Leela. The situation arose in order that souls on the earth would be able to recognize, speak of them, and listen to those divine pastimes with insight. Part 10 continued. In this way, Krishnadas's Varta is divine. Sri Gosaiji said of Krishnadas that no other was capable of composing such amazing songs about the Lord's Ras Leela and other pastimes. He was a disciple of Sri Acharyaji like no other, and he was an incomparable temple manager. Sri Gosaiji praised Sri Krishnadas Ji in this way. Thus it has been shown that Krishnadas was a very special Vaishnava and a recipient of great grace. Sri Govardhanaji was always pleased with him. His story is priceless and impossible to adequately describe. Thus concludes the Varta 84, the story of Krishnadas, the manager and one of the Ashtasaka poets, although really there is no end to his story. Shri Vallabhadisha ki jai, Shri Govardhanaji ki jai, Shri Krishna Sharanam, Jai Shri Krishna to all Vaishnavas. And that is the conclusion of the 84 Vartas of the 84 Vaishnav Varta. I trust with grace that you have enjoyed, with the Lord's grace, reading these Vartajis daily. And please let us know if you would like us to continue with these stories, with the Doso Bhavan Vaishnav Varta. And if anything has not been pleasing to you or any mistake has been made, please forgive me. And Jai Shri Radheji. But please do communicate and let us know if we should continue. Thank you. Jai Shri Radhe.